So, we've done 25 episodes.
Holy shit.
We are a quarter of a century old. It's very exciting. I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm excited.
That's good, Big Kev. How have you been, Tucker?
You know, busy. Not just games, but work and more programming. Mm-hmm. So, you know, a truly satisfied week.
Satisfied week. The week was satisfied with you, or you were satisfied with the week?
Well, now I think about it, more contempt. Let's go with that.
So you went from satisfaction to contempt?
You had to ruin it. Because it was satisfying, and then I'm going to go, you know, nah, maybe content is better. Let's go with that.
Well, you said contempt, though, so that's the opposite of what you meant to say. Once again, Tucker, the most dyslexic person in the entire world.
We're doing well.
Harry and I just edited last week's podcast, and
really?
Yeah, and we came to the part where you talk about you're not being dyslexic.
Yeah, it would have been
and
shit.
you couldn't say the word dyslexic. You tried 3 different times to say it.
Sorry, John, I swear to God, it's only with you do I mispronounce that word. So,
Well, it's like, why is there an L in Lisp? It's just cruel.
Yes,
it's just to fuck with them.
No one with a Lisp can say Lisp.
Yeah.
Every time I try to say a motto or Australian slang saying in front of John, I just screw it up.
Every time you try to say anything, pretty much.
John screws up.
So
John, I think out the cause of all these problems are, it's you.
What? Is that right?
You are the root cause.
Denominator.
I don't have this problem with anyone else except for John.
Right. It's like how in your life, if everybody around you is a bit of a jerk, you might just be the arsehole, you know? That's probably it, except everyone around my life misspells and missays things. Story of my life. So 2 planes crashed today, and by today I mean this week. Fuck, I already fucked it up.
By planes, you mean one rocket and a plane.
Yeah, I've got performance anxiety in front of Harry here. So, space plane and a rocket crashed this week. Space race is going real well, isn't it, Finny?
Yeah, not a great week for the space industry.
I'd say not. And it's terrible because, people died and all that sort of thing. In the second instance, the first instance was like a test thing and they detonated it themselves. But what I'd like to discuss is whether, people dying and injuries happening and bad things happening like this, is it worth it? The march of technological progress. Dyslexia, right there. Is it worth it in the grand scheme of things? What do you think?
I suppose it depends upon the total cost. I mean, thus far in this case, we've lost one person, which is a horrific tragedy, and we wish it couldn't happen. But in order for these things to advance, there will be losses. Sadly, as cold and as cruel as it is to say, sadly, people will die in any technological advancement. There are always sacrifices, whether it's like safety in cars. We went from driving around not exactly in death machines, but from cars which had virtually no safety features to having lots of them simply because people died. It wouldn't have happened otherwise. When passenger airliners first started up in the early 50s, I can't remember the model of the plane, but it was a very early jet engine powered passenger liner, and they kept on falling out of the sky for some reason. So eventually, to figure out how, they got a bunch of inspectors, sat them inside of the plane with parachutes and flew it around until it fell apart around them. They found out it was the windows. They were square and it was breaking along the corners, which is why no planes have square windows anymore. But there was that sort of, you're pushing the bounds of what is known. When you get to that point, things are going to go wrong, and that's how you move forward. You learn more from failure than you do from success, and I dare say Virgin Galactic will learn a hell of a lot from this, and it will actually push it forward, hopefully.
Well, let's hope so. So, speaking of space, Harry, there's some shit going on in Mars, potentially. Or there's no shit going on in Mars.
There's no shit going on in Mars. Like Andrew said, it is a bad week/month for the space race. It's impossible to live on Mars. End of story. Or at least with our current technology or limits of life. People will die from too much nitrogen after 60 days on Mars. No way to stop it.
But they can't live on Mars for one day right now.
Well, they could.
Huh.
A bubble with a plant. Some oxygen
No,
supplies.
but I mean, if you go to Mars right now, it's not the nitrogen or the lack thereof that's going to kill you.
It'd obviously be a shielded bubble.
Well, if it's a shielded bubble, then you can make the atmosphere into whatever you want.
No. You can either have too fewer plants or too many plants. It's like buoyancy in water. It's impossible to maintain exactly the right amount.
Oh.
And so if you've got too little air, you die.
But what
too
if
much
we,
air, you
what if we
vent it out.
mechanically remove the...
You
bad
cannot
stuff?
separate nitrogen from oxygen. We don't know how.
Is that true? Is that a true thing you just said right now?
I assume NASA
Someone Googled this
knows
fact.
what it's doing.
Someone with a quieter keyboard.
So not
Okay.
So, yeah, the plants make too much air, or too much oxygen. They have to vent it out. They vent it out with the nitrogen, is the problem. So, nitrogen becomes a diminishing amount. You can either inject it, and then they die from too much, or they keep on venting it, and then they die from too little.
So why are we alive now?
The world is very big.
Mars is, smaller, but big enough.
Yeah, but they're not going to be living on Mars. They're going to be living on a bubble on Mars. They'll be living in a room. Ecosystems can't be that small.
Well, we're not going to Mars then, I suppose.
pretty much.
I guess that's the answer. We're not going to Mars. Sorry to get your hopes up,
There's
everybody.
a few other problems.
What?
Well, it hasn't got a magnetosphere. I think that's what it's called.
What? Mars doesn't.
Mars doesn't.
It doesn't have
Magnetosphere,
it doesn't have Ian McKellen at the center of the planet.
say that.
I think I just buggered up science.
No, that's what it's called, right, Finny? Magnetosphere.
Magnetosphere, ionosphere, it's got a couple of names.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I was right.
Mars does have one, it's just extremely weak.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
choose
you-
the non-X-Men one.
You should never go and be a stand-up comedian on Mars because there's absolutely no atmosphere.
Oh.
I'll
Just
let
get
myself
out,
out.
John is henceforth banned from the podcast.
Now, speaking of a institutional lack of taste, Microsoft's just come out with a new wearable.
God damn it,
And I
Microsoft.
was about to say cue John's Apple defense, but hey, he's taking the initiative today and just gone straight at it.
Yeah, no, look, I literally, I'm making a joke, obviously. I literally didn't read anything about this on purpose because I knew that one of you guys would want to talk about it. So, I know nothing about it other than what it looks like. So tell me about it, please.
Alrighty then, so the Microsoft Band, as it's called, is their first foray into wearable tech. Now, the first thing that's interesting about this is that it's not designed to work solely with Windows Surface. It works on all platforms, which is the first strange part. And the other strange part is that its only purpose is as a health device. As a wearable, it has no other purposes as far as I can tell. I'm almost certainly completely wrong about that, but from what I've read, it's got no other purposes than it tracks sleep and exercise as well as connecting to health services on smartphones. So it'll retail for, well, this is in US dollars and pounds, so $199 US and 125 pounds. So in Australia, that'll be about $8,000. It can operate for 2 days on a single charge. It's got 10 sensors that track heart rate, calories, stress, and a person's sun exposure. So, John, that's going to be roughly 0 for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's their latest push into digital health because it launched a medical record initiative called Health Vault in 2007, which I think is just another way for the NSA to find out everything about you. There's the usual marketing garbage. But it's odd because they're late to the party, especially with wearable health devices, because they've been around for a few years now. And
The Fitbit, the Nike Fuel Band, all those
exactly,
sorts of
these things
yeah.
have existed for a long time now. It looks all right. It looks a bit like what I wanted smartphones to look like. Sorry, smartwatches to look like. But okay, maybe the price is more competitive. Maybe it's the fact that it can connect to most devices nowadays. But I really just, not only is this late to the party, it seems dumb as far as I'm concerned because it's so limited in its scope, which is rare for Microsoft. Usually they go a bit too far with that sort of thing, but all it does is like medical stuff. It just seems like I want your guys' opinions here because I want to know if I'm just talking garbage, but this just seems like it's too little too late.
Sounds like a new path.
Nah.
Or a new business strategy. Instead of trying to try something new or different, they're trying to do what everyone else has perfected even better. Possibly.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree. Like, I think it's a bit more than what you just described it as, Finny. So I think it is a more sports focused alternative to, say, the Apple Watch or the Motorola 360, whatever it is, that watch that Harry purchased then decided to return or get the refund for. But yeah, because when I was looking at it, it does look like it is offering the majority, or like maybe a significant part of what these smartwatches are offering. So yeah, you can tell the time, you get notifications, pay. They've got like their own version of Pay, I think, to try and combat. Well, not combat, because I don't think it'll beat Apple Pay, but I think it is a more sporty alternative. So maybe it is directed at the lower end Apple sports watch.
I really don't think this is aiming at that. I agree more with Finney, I think, where it seems like they're aiming at Fitbit and Nike Fuel Band and stuff, because it doesn't have anywhere near the functionality of an actual smartwatch. I do disagree with you, Finney, on one thing, in that it looks like shit.
What? Looks great.
You look at it. It looks like what those concepts. It looks like what those concepts for the Apple Watch looked like. Remember those things that wrapped around?
Those concepts were awesome.
They're dumb and impractical.
How do you use it?
How do you use it?
Touchscreen.
Swipe. It's so thin and weird. I guess this picture looks better.
Watch, John.
I guess this picture looks better, I suppose.
Well, John, your problem is it's not the Apple Watch, so therefore it's already bad.
No, not at all. I mean,
No,
some of the functionality of this thing is very limited.
Well, that's my thing with it, is that the only sort of defining feature in this the health device market is that it's connected to their cloud-based computing system. Was it the Health Vault? So all of your medical records, well, I suppose if you choose it, upload to this thing, and it uploads this data continuously to it, and it's computed by the servers, obviously. So even then, this isn't exactly harnessing a shit ton of data. So, I don't know.
And it's not different anyway, because the Moto 360 and the iWatch does the same thing.
I've got a better question. Why does anyone care about fitness? Like, we don't. We all eat too much. We all sleep, until midday and then stay up until midnight. We don't care about fitness. Why would we use these things?
Because it's selling aspiration.
Maybe we want to care about fitness and look like we do.
Yeah, it's the reason why you buy nice clothes, because you want to look good. You feel like, I see those cool clothes, or I see that cool car. I'm going to feel good when I buy that car. When you buy this watch, or you buy any fitness thing, you're like, I'm going to be fit now. It's selling aspiration. It's what any
You realise you're
does.
talking to Harry here, John.
Harry's talking to me. First off, saying you don't care about fitness.
Care about the clothes you wear.
Yeah, but you can look good in clothes. You won't be fit with this thing.
Yeah, but you feel you
some
can
people
be.
would be.
Yeah, I'm sure some
The
people
minority.
would be. But you won't actually be cooler driving a Ferrari or whatever.
Shut up. That's not true.
But going to buy it, aspiring to buy a Ferrari one day, that's what they sell to you. They're not selling your product. They're selling you the feeling of buying the product. Marketing 102.
I'll get 3.
But you couldn't be any more fitter, though, Harry.
I don't
Fitter's
know.
totally a word, right?
Dude, I tried scuba diving
English.
today. I am very unfit.
So, yes, you went scuba diving today, so tell us about it.
Yeah, that was crazy. And I really shouldn't have. My sister called me up first thing in the morning saying, "Hey, cripple boy, you have a heart condition. What the hell are you going scuba diving for?"
Well, you had a heart condition.
I told her that. She didn't buy it. Yeah, but scuba diving is awesome. It's breathing in a way that you've never breathed before. You don't think you can breathe underwater, because you normally can't. Panic sets in. You start breathing really hard, using up all your air. You become disoriented really quickly. And so the whole thing becomes a mental mind game. If you are calm, in control, you can do anything. You panic, you drown, like that.
Right. Scuba diving's a metaphor for life.
Yes, it is life intensified.
So, did you drown? Did you die?
I did not die.
Oh,
No.
too sad.
So they did
for
this
me.
really cool thing where they took us into a harbour with crappy visibility in the water and had us swim against the current for like half an hour. We all surfaced, hadn't gone a single metre. It teaches you about, what would you say, disorientation underwater.
How strong currents are. and
Yeah,
all
that kind of thing.
So, a good experience, something you'd recommend to others?
Oh yeah, gotta try it.
Yeah?
Must do.
Unless you have a heart condition like you do.
Unless you have a heart condition. It's kind of like golf. You don't think golf is strenuous? You do it for a whole day, you're buggered.
Yeah. Standing up hurts. John Clark, 2014. Speaking of not standing up and not doing anything, a massive nerd convention is happening this weekend called BlizzCon. And Tucker and I are very excited about it.
We are so going to sit our asses down that couch and watch the shit out of it. It's going to be amazing. I booked out my entire weekend, which is, I think, So America, it's Friday, Saturday, the convention, right?
Which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And Sunday?
Yeah.
No, because they're doing the Metallica...
Oh, that's right. Metallica's.
Their Saturday night, which is like
that's right.
Sunday morning for us, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, something like that. So.
Yeah. So the reason... Tell them why it's a big deal. So they've got...
It's BlizzCon. How's that not a big deal?
So it's the StarCraft 2 global finals for the year.
Of course.
It's probably a Legacy of the Void cinematic or announcement at the very least.
That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting something about StarCraft 2.
But the big thing that I'm thinking it's going to be is it's got to be some new game or some new something, because there's a massive stretch of 2 hours after the opening ceremony in the schedule that's not scheduled for anything. And there's a huge space on the floor where there's nothing there yet in the map that they've handed out. So there's got to be something going on in those 2 hours. Question is, now that Titan has been cancelled, what is it?
It could have been Titan. And now they're like, well, we've already scheduled everything. We don't want to go through that pain again, so we'll just leave it there.
I don't think they'll do that.
Okay, option 2. It's just Blizzard screwing of us.
Right.
Because you never know. Or 3, maybe a new
3!
IP
Half-Life 3!
Oh my god,
Half-Life
confirmed!
3.
That's it.
Collaboration between Blizzard and Valve.
We've been through this. Valve can't count to 3.
So they get Blizzard to help them.
Yeah, that's true. Warcraft 3. Huh?
They've proven they can do 3s.
Diablo 3. They can do 3s. It could just be, I guess Heroes of the Storm, but Heroes of the Storm is already announced.
Exactly, so it can't be that.
Yeah, it's got to be something else.
I have a feeling that it's either a new IP or an extension on an existing one, so... I don't know, maybe... It has
literally
to be,
covers everything.
Exactly, so... But I have a feeling possibly a StarCraft 2 expansion. So maybe they're going to announce, what's it, Legacy of the Void is the last one?
Yeah.
So maybe it is the new cinematic or some... No, it'd have to be cinematic. It has to be something.
Yeah.
I want something big.
Curious.
The mystery is intriguing.
Very curious about it. Now, speaking of StarCraft and esports, something else happened this week.
Once again, I have to reiterate the statement of we're in the wrong profession. We need to become pro gamers and then retire and earn 800,000 American dollars a year.
Doing what?
So apparently there's a former Chinese League of Legends pro is now streaming. So he's got a contract with I can't remember the company, but he now just streams. So I'm not quite sure what exactly is he's streaming. It could be either him just playing casually, or maybe he's probably doing like online tutorials or something. But he's getting paid 800,000 American to do it.
Is it for a gaming company or for a streaming company? Like Twitch or
sure. I was just breezing through the article and then just saw the big numbers on it. So
your eyes lit up.
So 800,000. Holy shit, that's a lot of money.
That is a lot.
And to think, I think most of them earn, like most esports professionals, they earn like what on average, having a good year, maybe 40 or maybe between $20,000 and $40,000 a year. I mean, I'm not talking about like the high end StarCraft 2 and like LoL and Dota players who can earn. How much did the highest grossing player in StarCraft 2? What's he normally earn?
Well, it's MC now, but it's 450,000 a year.
Yeah. So that's a lot of money.
That's a lot.
But I think, but if you think about the normal, like not like mid tier, but say people who get into the round of 32 in most games, how much can they make?
Well, they all have salaries, and it depends on whether they're with a US team, a European team, or in Korea. In Korea, they earn pretty much nothing, but in the US and Europe, they earn between 40 and 60,000 a year.
Let's assume they get paid, or their team doesn't shut down.
Yeah, assuming. Yeah, let's hoping that the team doesn't betray them. Now, speaking of betrayal, Finny, I betrayed you.
You did?
I did. I went and bought Advanced Warfare immediately as soon as it came out yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Also known as House of Cards Season 3.
Yeah, he's really good in it, actually, Kevin Spacey. But, so I played through the entire campaign today.
And I watched him play.
And Harry watched me play
How
the
long
last...
did it take? 20 minutes?
8-9 hours all up. And Harry watched me play the last 2 levels.
Yeah,
something
about an
like
hour.
that. Yeah, about an hour's worth of gameplay.
Did you actually kill anyone in that hour? There was so much stuff going on screen.
I killed many men's.
I'm not so sure.
It was like... It was the end of the... Harry pretty much didn't see any of the actual gameplay of the game because it was towards the end where they threw, like, all this different shit at you, like the mech suits and the hover tank and all this sort of stuff. And then they, like, kill your robot arm, so you've only got one arm, you can't reload, you have to pick up other guns and all this sort of stuff. But the beginning part of the third
Spoilers,
to last
John.
level... where you saw me ziplining around and trying to fight those dudes and all that sort of... You got a bit of an idea of how it works with the
That
double
was
jump.
Michael Bay, the video game.
It is. It's 100% Michael Bay, the video game. Now, I haven't tried any of the multiplayer, but from everything I've heard, this is probably the best COD in years. The story itself was, as dumb as it usually is, but it's like it was fun and kick-ass, and they blow up a very important bridge that I'm not going to spoil. But it's cool. There's just lots of cool shit happening all the time. And it's very short, and you get in and you get out and you have a great time. And so if I didn't rush through it to get it done for this podcast, probably would have been 3 or 4 days of me playing it. But then, obviously, this game's not about the single player, it's about the multiplayer. But if you do care about the single player, I think it's a pretty cool experience. What did you think from what you saw, Harry?
Oh boy, so many particle physics.
There's a lot. It looks a bit like PlanetSide 2 a little bit, with all the particles going everywhere.
Yeah. It's funny,
quickly-
because the first thing I saw... Sorry, you go ahead, Tucker.
Yep. John, can you please confirm for us which platform did you play this on?
The Master Race, Tucker. PC.
Good. I'm glad. You may continue with your story.
And it's got awesome, like, tons of options. Like, it's actually a really good port. You can customize everything. It's not just like the Final Fantasy 13 port that I've been playing, which is no options at all, and you're stuck at 720p. It's actually a good port. Anyway, go on, Harry.
Yeah. So, as fantastical as everything going on screen was, with my keen eagle eye, I instantly got to criticizing and noticed a funny little resource being reused, where you're fighting in a laboratory with soldiers who are shooting at you, and scientists who you don't need to shoot. But, of course, John accidentally did shoot one of the scientists. Accidentally. But the animation of being shot was the same animation that the soldiers use. So this scientist being shot suddenly held his arms out as if he was holding a rifle. Which looked really funny.
He was, like, crouched down or something, then it shot him, and then he, like, goes upright slightly and holds his rifle. Right?
Yeah, his air rifle. His non-existent rifle.
Classical inheritance.
Yeah.
Programming joke. Go on.
Yeah, great joke, Tucker.
Thanks.
Inheritance out of 10. Yeah.
It was fun. It really was fun to watch. So much stuff going on. It was like a movie. It could have just been a movie.
It could have just been.
Yeah.
But the actual, other than the last probably 40 minutes, the rest of the game is like every level they throw something different at you. You're ziplining, then you're doing a stealth level, then you're underwater and you're scuba diving, then you're jetpacking up to a 747 over Antarctica and bringing it down with your mag gloves, and you've got grapples, and they're always throwing different stuff at you. And these exosuits that you have, it feels a lot like Crysis, but the gunplay is not shit. It's like you can go invisible, or you can have sort of super strength and speed, and you can flip between them at any time, and you got the shields and everything. It's great.
And all of these fantastical technologies could not save John, because he died.
I died
a lot.
so many times.
On normal.
On normal difficulty.
Well, their idea of difficulty in those games is you ramp the difficulty up, and the number of bullets in the air just doubles.
No, but that's the thing. It was one guy, right? It was just this one big mech guy, and I couldn't kill him. And I was like ziplining around, and I had to hide. That was what I ended up having to do. But it was... I pretty much didn't die throughout the entire game until Harry arrived at my house and watched me, and I got performance anxiety.
Performance anxiety. Is that why you were just rushing into every single enemy stronghold?
Well, I didn't want to waste your time.
Yeah, you were all over the
want to
place. I
impress-
couldn't see who was friendly, who was foe. It was just an absolute...
The whole thing is you got to play this game specifically like jumping around and doing all like Halo. You can't just sit there and make it a shooting gallery because then it's boring. You got to jump in and feel invincible and just go and kick ass.
Yeah,
it's
that
really
did look cool.
It's really cool. So I will report back on whether the multiplayer is any good, but everything I've heard is that it's pretty good. Now, before we move on, I had a question for you, Harry, related to exoskeletons.
Yes.
We've just been watching Edge of Tomorrow, or
That's a funny movie.
or Live, Die, Repeat, or if you've seen the anime, All You Need Is Kill. What do you think of it?
It is seriously an anime.
Yeah.
Wow. I never thought they'd make a full-blown Western anime film.
It 100% is. It's kick-ass, right?
It's
a cool-
actually
it's a
really
film.
cool. I gotta hand it to you. I was skeptical. I'm not a fan of Tom Cruise, but he was just really good in this.
Yeah, it's a good
The only
film.
reason you like him in this is because he's constantly getting killed.
I know, it's so funny.
Have you seen it, Tucker?
No, I haven't. Although I had
we
a
are
question
forcing you
about
to see it.
COD.
Yeah.
I will watch it. I hear it's a very good movie.
Yeah, it's good.
And I do see the entertainment in watching Tom Cruise die multiple times. Is he trying to kill someone or like avert a war or something?
Yeah, avert a war.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid trailers because they build up anticipation and excitement, and then I feel disappointed when I see movies. So
What about all the hype?
that's what I'm trying to avoid. Go in with low expectations, and then everything will seem good to me.
That's
I
true.
mean, I've been burnt by too many movies where everyone hyped it up, and then I go in and I'm like, well,
That's the way to live your life. What was your question about COD?
So essentially, ever since COD 4 Modern Warfare,
Yeah.
there's been I've essentially played every COD game because they're all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Now, John, if I go and play this game and it's exactly the same, you owe me $60.
That's funny that you think it's only $60 and it's an Activision game.
It's like $90.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, I
God,
paid
no.
I paid $74 on Steam, so I don't know how much it is.
Lord Gaben, show us the way.
Yeah,
Oh my God! No,
You can't tell them
wait,
what
wait.
the price is.
No,
What?
but there will be a Steam sale soon.
oh yeah,
In
just
about
wait
a
till
month's
Christmas.
time.
That's right.
Oh, yes, because Activision's renowned for putting
Yeah.
their stuff on sale.
It'll be on like 10% sale, Tucker. So you might as well buy it now if you're
Still
going to buy it.
10%.
But
I don't
no,
know, it's
Tucker,
either-
I have not liked a COD since COD 2. I didn't
Right.
like COD 4. I didn't like Modern Warfare. I didn't like Modern Warfare 1, 2, or 3. I liked Black Ops 1,
Really?
but I
You
didn't like the
didn't like 2?
multiplayer. No, I only liked
like
Black
2?
Ops 1's multiplayer. Single player, because it was fucking retarded and ridiculous.
Yes, it was.
But fun. It was very fun. But
Yeah.
Black Ops 2 and all the Modern Warfares and Ghosts, I haven't liked. I've played them all and I hate them all. COD 2
Yeah.
is fantastic. I didn't even like COD 4. This game is like the first time... It's like the first time you play Halo multiplayer, I guess, where you're jumping around and you feel like you're free to sort of do anything and you're ziplining all over the place and having a great time. But you can still die really easily. I don't quite know how to describe it, where you're not really fearing for your own life too much, you're just having a fun time playing. But that's just the single player. I haven't played the multiplayer yet.
John, there is
No.
a fatal flaw in that era.
What?
In that saying.
There's a fatal flaw in that era.
Me in sayings.
You said there has been a fatal flaw, a fatal exception as a
Fatal
code.
exception. You just said you didn't like Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare 1, COD 4, right?
COD 4,
Yeah.
Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
That is one of the best games ever, and I hate COD.
That's
It
not
is one of the best games.
ever.
It is,
Modern
just, it
Warfare,
is a
John, was
great
brilliant.
game.
Nah.
It was
It's
good.
really
was
good.
It was great, and then they just rinse and repeated for every
Just
other.
ignore all those
since.
sequels.
Uh,
Right. Well, I'll be interested to see Frank Underwood's political career in this single player. So
he was pretty, game itself aside, let's talk about the pretty girl in the dress. The graphics were pretty good, I thought.
Oh, during cutscenes.
During cutscenes, yeah. During the game itself, like COD always is, the textures are low, but the effects are pretty.
So many effects.
Yeah, lots of effects. The sound was really nice. It was very deep and bassy. The guns felt fucking awesome to shoot, which I guess they always do in COD. But
Yeah, right. You had
I
like
always
the
feel like
BFG
bloody
9000,
guns.
and it did nothing to anyone.
not in this one. This is ridiculous. Sorry, what were you saying?
You had the BFG 9000 that sent out some kind of proton laser cannon thing, and it sort of hurt them a bit.
Well, it's also a little bit realistic. It's not like Sunset Overdrive or Jack and Daxter or something like that, where you've got a gun that shoots other guns that shoot nuclear bombs that shoot chickens.
Then why make a photon phase rifle cannon thing?
I don't know,
Because, Harry, this is Call of Duty. They take really, really cool concepts, apply the grey, boring filter of realism, and make everything shit.
Anyway, I'm saying it's worth checking out. If you haven't liked a COD in a while, this might be the one to bring you back, because it did for me.
Get it on sale. Get it on sale, and you will be impressed.
For
Not
our
paying full price for a COD game.
for our PC Master Race brethren, what's the recommended graphics card for it? To get the full Michael Bay experience.
I had to do an INI tweak. You mean the official ones, or you mean what I'd reckon?
What do you recommend? Yeah.
Well, I had to do an INI tweak to pre-bake the lighting in. Otherwise, I would get about 30 FPS, and that's on a 780 Ti. With the INI tweak, it was fine, and I got 60. But the actual minimum recommended one, the minimum recommended on all low graphics, everything, is 6 gigs of RAM. I don't quite know what the video card is, but it's like an i3, 6 gigs of RAM, and probably a 400 series or a 500 series.
Really?
560.
560
so 560.
series. Yeah, so... but that's minimum.
Harry
That's
gets
minimum.
shit out of luck.
Yeah.
Because SLI 570s ain't gonna help you.
Yeah.
It's also not optimized for SLI yet.
Yeah.
Everything
Oh,
is optimized.
It
Harry,
can't use
it's
SLI.
Yeah.
Lord Gaben has given you a sign. It's time for you to upgrade to.
This is Activision.
Activision is paid by our Lord Gaben to give Harry a sign
Sign.
that he must
This is a whole
upgrade.
new level of conspiracy theory, listeners.
Yes, we can give you all the evidence you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Harry, 980 time.
Yeah, it's time for you to upgrade, Harry.
Understood.
Although you'll probably wait till The Witcher 3.
Witcher 3. I will see how.
Did you see the new trailer? Not the trailer, but the opening cinematic that they released?
That's not the killing monsters one.
No. The the opening cinematic for The Witcher 2 is the guy on the boat, and he's like freezing the boat, and it's super cool.
Oh yeah.
It's like the beginning of the game. They released that the beginning of the game, and it's got what's her name, Yennefer, running through the woods and being a witch.
But
and
spoilers.
shit.
Should
No,
I see it?
No spoiler. There's no spoiler. It's just cool shit happening. It's really cool. I am on the hype train for Witcher 3, I must say.
Also, Yennefer is super hot.
Where Yennefer is super well. I like
She's the redhead.
no, Triss is the redhead. I like Triss. Yennefer is Geralt's daughter, kinda.
Ah, fuck! Spoiler, John. Jeez.
What do you mean spoiler? It's in a
I haven't
25-year-old
finished two.
book.
I haven't even finished
It
one.
doesn't happen in 2, Tucker. It happens in the book 25 years ago or something.
Wait. There's the book.
Yeah, they're based on a series of like 400 books.
Well, there you go.
There's tons of them, and
You learn
like
something new
only like
every day.
one of them's translated. The rest of them are all in Polish still.
Yeah. And those books are in turn based on an old, legend.
Yeah, like a Polish monster killer, I guess.
Like a
Because-
lot of fiction is. Jeez.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the term Witcher isn't exactly something you'd pick if English was your first language, I guess. It's a bit of a strange word.
So are these cinematics on par with, say, Blizzard's? Like when they release them?
Oh yeah, well you've played The Witcher 2, right?
I played it, and then
Did
I
you
stopped,
watch?
and then I
Did you
played
watch
again.
the first cinematic where the guy's on the boat and kills?
Yeah,
the
with
king?
he assassinates him with an
he
arrow?
like freezes the boat and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a cool cinematic, right? It's like that. Obviously, Blizzard's always got fantastic cinematics, but these guys like make one every 6 years, and
Yeah.
it's cool. So
Gosh, see, now I got to go back and finish Witcher 2. Which reminds me,
certainly
controller or keyboard with the unofficial update
mouse and keyboard.
mouse keyboard.
It's too complicated otherwise.
Yeah, I have the problem. It keeps switching in between, and then I come back and I switch, and it ruins everything.
Yeah.
Especially since they can't bloody put the PS4 button images in there.
Are you
Pick it
sure
up
you're
on-
on board with the master race?
Yeah, why would they lower themselves? Everyone knows if you're using control on a PC, you've got to use an Xbox controller too.
No, generally I stick to keyboard and mouse, but you keep saying no. You've got to play over controller. And I'm like, well, I don't have it.
Not The Witcher. Like Assassin's Creed, you've got to play with a
No,
controller.
you said when The Witcher 2 first came out, it was like terrible for keyboard and mouse, just too hard.
Yeah, when it
You
first
said-
came out. Now it's
Yes.
got the mod that fixes it. So you're okay.
Interesting. So I have to do that after Shadow of Mordor.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You know what really strained the graphics cards? The game I've been playing.
What have you been playing?
Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, this thing could be played on Windows 95, probably. Probably Windows NT.
Which came after Windows 95.
Shut up.
That's Windows 2000.
This is the scariest game I've ever played in my entire life. And it's just jump scares. That's all it is.
What do you do in it?
So, you work at one of those animatronics amusement venues where kids go to have their parties, and they have, like, these robotic, teddy bears that do a song and a dance for the kids, and the kids are all happy, and it's all fun. But you're the security guard. You're there at night. And this place is haunted as hell. Okay, these animatronic animals move on their own. And it's... At first I thought it was like Slender Man, where you never actually see them move, because you're only able to see the different rooms through the security camera feeds. And, you switch to a feed, and all of a sudden one's there. Oh, crap, he's moved to this room, which is closer to where I am. But it's not like that. You get about halfway through the game, and all of a sudden you see them actually moving, and you realize, oh, crap, I have to close the door right now, or they're going to jump into the security box I'm in and murder me with murderness.
So what's the gameplay loop? Like, what are you doing?
So, because the owner of this place is a cheap ass, you've basically got a AA battery to power the entire place for the night. And for some reason, it costs power to close the doors to your room. I know, the most arbitrary thing I've ever seen.
Half-Life, sprint and flashlight, both of the same battery.
Yeah. So, you can only close the doors for a limited amount of time each night. So you only want to close the doors when you know they're right there. And so you got to find out where they are, keep tracks of them. And of course it also uses battery to look through the security feed as well. So
is it an FPS?
So it's actually more like a point-and-click adventure game, really.
Okay.
You've got your security iPad, if you will. You can see all your security feeds. You can close the doors. You can turn on the lights to the two hallways outside your security box to see if there's anything there. All of these things use up power. So, you start the night with 100%, it goes down and down and down. Even if you're doing nothing, it's still slowly going down. And it's scary as all hell. It's just
Have you
freaky.
finished it?
No, I can't finish it. I really can't.
And it's on Steam, right?
It's on Steam for like less than $5. And if you want a proper scare, that's $5 well spent. It's a lot quicker to scare you than Slender.
Yeah.
So, John, you have to play this game.
No.
Yeah. But the best thing about this game is the guy who made it actually used to make children's games. And the games he made before were panned by critics because everyone said, oh, look at these robotic animations. They look like they're just robots. You should just quit. And this guy almost did. And then he realized, oh, wait, I could use these animations to
scare
actually
Harry.
look robotic. Because that's the point. These things are very not human. They move weirdly, if they move at all, when you see them move.
So what's the fail state? Does it kill you? What happened? Have you died yet?
Multiple ways of dying.
Okay. How do
Most
they
of them just involve a jump scare, a screen.
And then the screen
you're
goes
good.
dark or something and says you lose.
Yeah. Worst part is, hitting the escape does not take you to a menu. It just quits the game. You got to start over. So you can fear quit at any point you want. You just got to start over. You lose all your progress.
I saw I don't know if it was Five Nights at Freddy's or it was PT. It was that Silent Hill thing that we watched, and it was a guy. He screen capped his screen with a video, and it was a guy playing it, and he turns the corner of that hallway, and there's that woman there who's like jerking really strangely because she's being hung or whatever, the ghost, and then you just see him go Alt F4, go right click, uninstall game, delete this content, and then you see him reboot his computer, boot into another partition, right click on the other partition, format C, and then it cuts to an external view of someone's filming him, and he unplugs his computer, pulls out the hard drive, wipes a magnet all over it, puts a spider on top of it, and then lights it on fire. I was like, yeah, that's pretty much any scary game that I play. Especially if it doesn't pause you when you go to the escapes.
Does
when you
not
press
pause.
escape.
That was like in Slender when he started to get really close. The pause option was disabled.
Oh,
Yeah. Hitting escape would just put even more static on screen. So it would make the scary situation worse.
oh, I can't do it.
Oh, that's
Scary
good.
games. Speaking of being frightened, are you having a frighteningly good time, Tugger?
Oh.
With Shadows of Mordor?
That's my game, John.
Yeah, but you've both been playing it.
We have both been playing it.
Oh, we both discussed
And no,
it.
it's not scary. What do you want about?
I'm joking. I tried to transition
Dear God,
frighteningly
don't do
good
that.
time.
No, don't.
I don't know. So you've been enjoying it, Finny?
Yes, when I first started playing it, I was actually on the verge of giving up because I hated it.
Oh,
But then
what did you hate about it?
What I hated about it, and other things that I like, it was the lack of direction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, basically, what it came down to is I'd never played an Assassin's Creed game, so I had no idea how to get around the environment. Then I realized
There is no Assassin's
everything.
Creed game.
Did you mean to say greed or?
I said, "Oh, greed."
I thought you were making a political point there.
No, but yeah, I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game, so I haven't dealt with a game which you get around the environment quite like that.
Right.
So when I first started playing it, I had no idea what the hell I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I powered on through it because everyone kept on saying, keep going, keep going. There were also a couple of parts where I got stuck. I tried to kill the orc captains.
Can't do it, right?
At the start I couldn't, and that was really pissing me off, until I killed 6 in a row in about 10 minutes. I was like,
it's
oh,
fun.
I could like this game.
Have you run into like that one guy yet who keeps pissing you off and is hard to kill?
I did.
What's his name?
What's his name?
What was it? Something the small. It's like this little, or the little, or the short, or something like that. Basically, it's this stupid archer who killed me twice, and I ran away from him 4 times because he called in like 20 of his mates.
Oh,
Eventually, I just absolutely lost with him, murdered all of his mates after he prattled on about how he was going to kill me again and stabbed him in the face. That was the start of the killing spree of the 6 orc captain or Uruk captains. But now that I understand how the game actually works, it's a lot of fun.
it is, isn't it?
It took me a lot longer, because you know how any new game you play, especially out of one that's in a genre you don't usually play, there's that adjustment period of figuring out how everything works. It was a lot longer and a lot harder for me, but once I've gotten the hand of it so far, it's been really good. The story, finding out about the Wraith is pretty interesting. The way they shoehorned in Gollum just made me piss myself laughing.
I thought they handled Gollum pretty well, considering.
No, that was
by the way,
biggest
just before we
bad
move on,
shoehorn.
have you finished the game?
Not yet, no.
Okay, all right.
Whereabouts are you up to?
What was his name? Ratbag.
Right back.
Oh, what, you've
wait,
met
wait,
him,
wait, wait,
or
wait.
what?
He's just been promoted to captain.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
You're very
like
early
only
on.
a
Well,
quarter
that's
of the way
because I
through.
spent ages running around doing side quests and stabbing captains.
Okay.
I did the same thing, so eventually you can move on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
and then
eventually I
go
was
for
forget-
even harder captains.
Well, there's
I
a
was
different
running around
area as well.
How do you get forward? And then I was there are story missions.
Yeah.
So as I said, it's taken a while for me to adjust to it, but now that I have,
Right.
I'm moving forward with the game, and it's a lot of fun.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, as it goes along, Gollum's integrated a lot better. And the Ratbag, I like Ratbag quite a bit, actually. I like that whole little arc with him.
Yes.
But you do, if you get bored of that map, you do end up going to the Sea of Nirn, which is a different place, a lot more green. In Mordor's nicer days.
Yeah, but that's the part I'm up to now. So I'm in the second map,
Well,
which
some
is
of
it's a nice change. It's a nice change.
The Wraith abilities are really cool.
They are. Do you have the AoE attack yet?
Not yet. I've almost got that. I think my favorite is when you Wraith stun the Uruk, then you do that really fast double attack where the Ranger hits, then the Wraith hits.
Oh yeah, and have
flurry.
you hit the button more than twice?
Oh yeah, and it keeps going.
Yeah, it just keeps going, right? It's
That's probably the coolest part of the interrogations are really cool. Just with the Wraith forces its way in the mines. That's really cool. But yeah, the Wraith abilities. So far, the Wraith is the most interesting part. That's really cool. I'm really liking that.
The game really starts opening up once you can brand other Uruks, which isn't until about halfway through. What that does is you own them pretty much, and you can brand all these Uruks and then command them to attack things, and so you grow your army throughout you playing this game, and until eventually you become an unstoppable Aragorn type badass. But that's really cool, and that's about halfway through that you get that ability. But that really makes the game great.
Yes, I'm enjoying it right now.
Yes, you're enjoying it, Tucker?
Most definitely. It's just so much satisfaction just hunting down random packs of orcs and killing them, hoping to come across some unknown captain you haven't seen before, and killing him before he gets a chance to, gang up on you. So
That is always fun. When they do
I
the
take
intro.
the attack first approach to this game.
Well, you realise that they're randomly generated, right?
Yeah,
at
so I
that,
gotta keep
at
killing
that
him
time.
because I'm annoyed of that stupid. I've got one captain back on the first map who's like rank 20 now, and I almost had him, like almost killed him, and then one of those, the Caliborg, is it the
Karagor or Graug?
Graug? No, Graug's the big
Yeah.
troll-like ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the the wolf-like one.
Karagor.
Yeah. So one of them attacked him, and he has the bonus against monsters thing.
Mm-hmm.
Killed it. Health back all the way up full. I'm like, you're kidding me! I'm just about to bloody kill him. Literally about to strike him down with the F blow. So you press F with the with your blue sword, and you like do an awesome finishing move. About to that, he kills it full health. I'm like, you're kidding me! And he runs away. I'm like, you bastard!
What's it like playing it with a mouse and keyboard? Because Finny, I'm assuming you're playing it with a controller like me.
Yep.
Yeah. What's it like, Tucker? Is it hard or easy or?
I would definitely say this game was designed for a controller. No doubt.
Certainly.
It's playing with a keyboard. Like the mouse is good, so you can move around and stuff. That's a lot easier, and you can't. Like I did get used to it, and it's all right. But I can tell that just the way some of the buttons are placed, like how you control and do, like I think my control is equivalent to your what button do you press to do your actions and stuff, like to jump on things or to counter and stuff. So
Counter is Y.
Yeah.
Run is right trigger.
Yeah, see,
X
like-
is hit.
generally moving around, I think the controller has a better layout. But I think when it comes to combat itself, just right click and left click makes it so much easier.
I think it's the other way around, actually.
Really?
Running around is kind of hard with the controller because they reversed the controls from Assassin's Creed, where
Right.
to sneak, actually I got it wrong, to sneak is right trigger and to run is A. Now, holding A and turning the thumbstick at the same time is difficult because you've only got one thumb, one right thumb.
Yeah.
So I feel like for a controller that's hard, but for actual combat, I feel I can get the timing really right with the controller. But Tucker, surely you could buy a 360 controller for like $20 these days.
Yeah, I could. But I won't. I don't know, like, I could buy it, but then, that's $20 I could have gone to an Xbox One.
Which is $50 cheaper this Christmas.
Yes.
Yes.
So, I'm interested to see which deals they bring out. So, like,
That's
every
the
time
deal.
I go by to the retailers, it's like the Xbox just has ridiculous deals. It's like the Xbox and 3 or 4 games, and it's probably 400 or 500 Australian. It's pretty good.
Should just do it already.
I should, but I won't. Unless someone wants to get it for me for Christmas. Secret Santa, John.
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint.
That's not a thing that's happening.
It's totally happening.
Instead of doing that, how about I don't do that?
See, that would result in me not getting an Xbox One for Christmas.
This is an unacceptable outcome.
It is. I like the
now-
certainty of having a next-gen console. Sorry, current-gen console.
Current
Silly.
gen console.
Current-gen.
Now, speaking of things you'll never buy, got some news on Star Citizen.
Oh, yes, we do. PAX. Glorious PAX has shown us the new FPS mode. Oh, it looks so good. Now, have you guys actually watched the video?
No, I've not had a chance. Tell us about it.
It's good. I think there's clearly some more work to be done on it, but for me, like the first maybe minute felt like Mass Effect. I just got that feeling of like Austin stepping out, like a bit of a badass, and you're going into. I think it was kind of hard to gather exactly what the hell was going on, except the fact that they start off in space. You're like, oh yeah, Star Citizen, flying out through this meteor belt, I think, or some couple of asteroids in your ship. I'm like, yeah, Star Citizen. And then you come across I think it's a space station or a downed ship, and they go inside it and I'm like, ooh, this is going to be good. And then it shows you in kind of like a first-person mode, looking around, you're seeing a couple of guys in the ship, like hangar bay, ready to depart, and then you step out. And then when you step out of the ship, I felt like it was Mass Effect, but with better shooting. Because Mass Effect isn't exactly that great for, actual combat mechanics.
Yeah.
Combat mechanics.
Yes.
I want to watch it now.
You should definitely watch it. Yeah, I think this is going to be... I think it's a good blend of what Star Citizen's going to be. Like, I didn't just want a space game, although it will be awesome with the Oculus Rift. But I reckon the fact that you can kind of maybe board a ship, I'm not quite sure how it's going to work yet.
Well, they've also shown the whole planet thing as well. You can go planet side too.
Oh, this is good.
I just said planet side too. You can
You need to say something, but he's not.
You can go planet side as well. They've shown that as well, which is cool.
It's looking good. There's definitely some work they need to do, and I don't think they said it was finished. But you can see that there's potential for it to be good. So I'm hoping, because it'd be awesome to have a space game where I can fly around in my spaceship and then go into combat or board an enemy ship and start shooting things. So
nice. Hey, speaking of, sorry, you go ahead.
No, I'm done saying. I need Oculus Rift and I need Star Citizen.
We'll get
because
that.
now
John will get that. Speaking of all things space and space opera, remember that game I reviewed, Ancient Space?
It was like Homeworld?
Yes, it was like Homeworld, but it has one thing way better than the rest of the game. In fact, forget the game. One thing I extracted, the soundtrack. I've actually put it in the show notes for you guys to listen to. I have discovered the most epic song on the planet, and it's the opening song for this game. It is just the best. You cannot listen to it and not be absolutely pumped for whatever.
Harry, what did I say about raising expectations?
Hey.
If I listen to this...
It's the best song on the planet.
It's the most epic space opera song on the planet.
Song, it's going to sound terrible now. I hope you're happy.
But it is seriously good. Like, think Halo 1 opening soundtrack. That was some epic stuff. Or Mass Effect 2 soundtrack. That kind of thing. It's just, wow. It actually puts the rest of the game together.
You and your sayings, Harry.
Puts the rest of the game to shame. It's a tongue twister.
Now, speaking of Star Citizen and MMOs, I wanted to have a quick discussion here before we finish. Why did Wildstar fail?
How did it even, John?
Finny, we played. Harry, we played it. It was aiming to, because people complained about vanilla WoW, like they want WoW to be like it was back in 2004. And so the Wildstar devs are ex-Blizzard guys who just went out and said, all right, we're going to make an MMO that's like WoW in 2004. And they did that, and the studio's shutting down. And the game is closing soon.
Okay, so just
how did it fail so hard?
John, you realize that Wildstar was aimed specifically at the hardcore MMO people.
Yeah.
Why the hell were you guys playing it? That's all I hear about this game. It is essentially, it's like we're not holding your hand. They're adding a lot more of the PvE element to things, such as like there's a lot more move out of the way. It's not as forgiving.
Yeah.
Like as in WoW. So WoW, you take a couple of hits there, here and there. But I hear like Wildstar, I was like, nope, there's a lot of shit happening on the ground. You've got to move out of it whilst attacking and stuff. So
yeah, Wildstar's it's hard in the PvP. In the PvP and stuff, it's hard. But the game itself does definitely hold your hand. I mean, we left young Finny and Harry on their own for a while, and they played it for a little while, and it was fun. I mean, we had a good time playing.
It was really fun, and pretty.
Yeah, but we didn't resub, and apparently nobody's resubbing.
But I know why, and my reason won't be the same as your reason.
So what's your reason?
Well, my reason is the story. Compare it to Eve. Eve doesn't have something that needs to be resolved. It's just this great world that you can do whatever in. Whereas in Wildstar, you've actually got these two sides, and you wonder how it's going to turn out. You've got like a semi-story set up, but that's not a good setup for an MMO. An MMO doesn't finish a story, really.
Yeah, well, but then again, you look at WoW, and it's got its story. In every expansion, they advance the story a bit. But the whole idea with it is there's just a war, right? And in war, all these little stories can happen throughout it. And your story, as a character inside WoW, is doing that. Wildstar took the same approach, where they've got these two warring factions, stuff's going on, and every quest you do advances the story just that little bit. But I think the reason maybe you didn't resub was not so much that the story didn't grab you or something like that, but the gameplay didn't really allow it because it was all about the mechanics, I feel.
Yeah.
It was all about, oh, we're going to get this better gear, get this better thing. You know, it's all about gameplay, the loot treadmill.
Yeah,
you know?
and that has nothing to do with the story.
With the story, yeah. The story's an ancillary thing, which is like the worst thing ever for you. It's like the sin of all sins.
Exactly.
I'd say so. Finney, why didn't you resub?
MMOs don't interest me, I guess.
Probably for the same reason
Yep.
as I just said.
Well, I suppose gamers tend to be extremely fickle, and I think it's because WoW still exists and is still popular. The problem is everyone who plays an MMO, as an experience sort of thing, will have played WoW, and WoW is the original and does it the best.
Well,
So
it's
they're
not
all
the
just going to
original.
go back to that.
Not the original,
it's not
but
original,
yeah.
it's the best.
It was the first major. It was the best.
Yeah.
And so they're all just go back to that. They'll play it for a while. They go, yeah, that was fun, and then go back to WoW. I'm not quite sure why they keep doing that, but it just seems to be that everyone I know who plays MMOs always just goes back to WoW. Like they'll play something else for a month or two. Like heaps of people I know played Wildstar. Some of them got into it really, really in a big way for like 1 or 2 months. Same with Elder Scrolls Online, that people would play that for like 1 or 2 months constantly, then they'd stop, cancel their sub, and if they were going to keep playing an MMO, they all went back to WoW.
Yeah, it's if you're playing, you can't really play 2 MMOs. If you're going to have an MMO, you've got your one MMO, right? And the problem is, statistically, if you're an MMO player, you've been playing WoW for the past 10 years. With, at their peak, they have 14 million players, something ridiculous like
I
that.
thought it was 12 million. Or 12.5 million.
Yeah, quite a bit. So that's why they always go back. But that's why I didn't resub, because I'm back to WoW.
Yep. And speaking of WoW, yay, Australian servers! It only took Blizzard 10 years, but we finally got them.
Well,
We finally
a little bit
have
late.
an acceptable ping to play at. So
Yes.
I'm very happy with my 15 to 30 MS ping, compared to the previous ridiculously high 300 to 500, or even 1,000 ping at some points. So
It was bad.
it was really bad.
Fiber for the win.
Yeah.
5 ping.
Well,
Harry
I was
was-
using normal ADSL too, but it's now at an acceptable level that we can actually, that Oceanic players can play. We can essentially compete on both PvE and PvP at on the same level as the Americans could.
Yeah. About
Or
3
anyone
times
else
a
outside
day.
Australia.
About 3 times a day on CS:GO, I get someone saying, "You have 5 ping. Are you a wizard?"
Yes.
Speaking
Harry,
of,
I'm a wizard.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Yeah. Actually, no, Wildstar and Counter-Strike is a good comparison, because did you guys play that zombie Counter-Strike that came out recently?
Yeah, the remake of Counter-Strike Zombies.
Yeah. So I played that for a little while, then I went back to CS:GO, because everyone's playing CS:GO.
Yeah. And if you get COD, like if you get Advanced Warfare, you might play the multiplayer of that for a while, and then you go, well, my FPS is CS. And you go back to CS, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You get stuck in your rut. Certainly. Is that it from you guys this week?
Pretty much.
Alright. Well, I'd like to thank you all for joining us for Uninformed. Please subscribe to us in iTunes, watch us on YouTube, tweet us at uninformed news, or email us at uninformedpodcast@gmail.com. I'm John Clark,
I'm Harrison Lee.
I'm Andrew Finn.
And I'm Matt Tucker.
and you've become Uninformed.